to weather the storm through the whole scandal, but he has become into something more. Somebody that the Astros fans root for, somebody that the Astros fans cheer for, and Astros players, they want to root for him to get a ring now because he has done it. He has done what only 12 other managers, or I guess 11 other managers have done before. He got to win number 2000. We're going to talk about this and more on this episode of the Locked On Astros podcast.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talks Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can I find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter and Instagram, and they can find me at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros.
All righty. So this was a great game. If you look at situation, what happened today, the Astros, once again, it took a little bit for the offense to get going, but when they got going, it got going. It's like waiting to the last minute to get that perfect gift for your mom for Mother's Day, like maybe going to Blue Nile. But this episode is brought to you by Blue Nile. Today, this Mother's Day, give mom something she'll treasure forever with fine jewelry from BlueNile.com, and Locked On Sports listeners get $50 off $500. Use the code Locked On at checkout. And guys, thank you for making the Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to us, and make sure you go ahead and listen to us on Apple, Odyssey, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Check out the Locked On Astros podcast on your way to work, on your way home to work, or even at work. Just don't tell your boss, or tell him to subscribe to us on YouTube. So today's game was a great game. It started off with Cristian Javier pitching really good. This guy pitched into the sixth inning. This was somebody who was a reliever, going like a long reliever, and now he's pitching deep into the game. How long is he actually going to stay in the rotation? We'll talk about that. You have Yordan Alvarez. He is hot as you can be. He crushed another home run. And Jeremy Peña. What can this guy not do? But I guess we got to talk about the big elephant in the room, and that's Dusty Baker just doing what Dusty Baker does. I know he came out of retirement to manage the Astros after the scandal, and Jim Crane actually wanted him because of the fact that he's handled controversy. He dealt with Barry Bonds during the steroid controversy. He's dealt with this type of crap before.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why he came in. And now he's no more just just deal with this stuff. He's actually becoming a manager that's helping the Astros win. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about what happened.
No, yeah. So Dusty Baker, he comes in. He's the only manager to take 5 different teams to the playoffs. He is the first African-American manager in baseball to get 2,000 wins. He talked before the game about Cito Gaston and other guys that paved the way for him to basically come in and become manager. Frank Robinson, guys like that, long before him. And, Dusty Baker, when he stopped playing baseball, he was like, he did not want to be the manager. He did not want to be a manager. And I believe it was the Giants reached out to him. And he happened to be on a vacation, and he happened to he said, you know what? He said, I called my dad, and I said, look, here's the deal. I'm kind of getting these offers, but I don't know if I want to manage. He goes, you need to go to the mountains. You need to sit down and talk to God about it, and let God guide you, and let this be something that God calls you to, rather than you just force yourself into it or don't do it. He happened to meet the owner of the Giants while he was about to sit down and start praying. He hadn't even said one prayer. The guy tapped him on the shoulder. He said, hey, I'm so-and-so. And they got to talk. And he said, we'd really like to have you come out and be manager for the Giants. And he was like, okay. He said it was just one of those things where he said, I hadn't even prayed yet and asked God what he wanted. And he said, so I called my dad and I was like, is this a sign? He said, son, that sign came and tapped you on the shoulder and told you he wants you to manage. I don't think you need anything else, any other confirmation. He said, so I guess you can say I'm called to do this. And I was just like, wow, I had never heard that. Eric, my grandfather, my dad's dad, they're from Athens, Georgia. I have a bat here. It says Atlanta Braves, and if you're watching, you can see the Atlanta Braves burned into the bat. This bat was purchased at the series. I don't know if it was the game, but it was the series that Hank Aaron broke the record where Dusty Baker was on deck. And the Astros connection, Milo Hamilton called the record-breaking home run by Hank Aaron. And so I've known about Dusty Baker for a while and kind of watched him from afar. And I know he gets a lot of criticism for unorthodox moves and things like that. But how can
By
you not?
Locked On host.
Oh, come on, man, dude. Trust me. No, I've come into my own. I've admitted when I've been overly critical of Dusty Baker, and
Yeah.
as has everybody else. So don't act like I'm the only person in this entire hemisphere that has ever criticized Dusty Baker, right? But that doesn't mean I don't respect the man. It doesn't mean that I don't think that he has come here to do a job, and he's fallen into like a really good team. So he's got a great opportunity this year. And Eric, if this team turns things around offensively and they start scoring more runs and they start putting more runs on the board and they get hot, I mean, when Lance McCullers comes back, when this team is really, really full strength, pitching wise, I mean, they're going to have a problem on their hands come midseason. If Javier's shoving, if Odorizzi is shoving, and then Lance McCullers come back and maybe he's in playoff form because he hasn't pitched half the season, Dusty Baker has a great opportunity to win a ring, a World Series ring, his first World Series ring, and then probably retire and go off into the sunset, to be honest.
Yes. So by request, we're going to go ahead and do this.
Thoughts by Dusty.
All right. So the players actually gave Dusty Baker a champagne bottle signed by the entire team. And this is what he had to say. This is probably the most together team I've been on. And then he went on to say that when asked about his emotions, Dusty said, I'm pretty cool. My dad didn't like crybabies. And then he also said, I'm probably one of the luckiest men to walk the face of the earth. So that's probably how he feels because he is the one of 12 managers to reach 2,000 wins. He's the first African American manager to reach 2,000 wins. So the only other manager who has more than 2,000 wins not in the Hall of Fame is Bruce Bochy. And I think he has 2003, and he's still eligible to go into the Hall of Fame. But I think that with the course that Dusty Baker is in, and if he gets a ring, this is, I mean, I think he's already a surefire Hall of Famer based on his
I don't think he needs a ring.
right.
I know that was the talk beginning of the year. Of course, maybe I was saying that. I didn't realize how close to 2000 he was. Honestly, how many people have a Rolodex in their mind of like where a manager is on the all-time win list? Like I didn't even know Bruce Bochy, like he's going to pass him next. Like he's only got like 3 wins to pass him. My dad just texted me. He said he could pass Leo DeRocha. He will. And I mean, and it's just the beginning of the season. They got a lot more wins to get, Eric. And I mean, wow. And who knows? Maybe he comes back. Maybe he's reinvigorated. He may want to retire. I know his son is an up and coming player on the Nationals, and I think it may depend on his son's success. He's real big on family. And remember one of his greatest quotes of all time when he got back to spring training? This is the first time I've worn pants since November.
Oh, okay. I misspoke on Bruce Bochy. He's actually not eligible for induction yet, so he's not.
Well, no. Oh, no.
Yeah,
No. Oh, no. No, he's not even. No, he's not. No, you have
yeah,
to be out of the game for a
yeah.
while. I must not have caught that, but I know he's going to pass him next.
Right.
Because he's next
No,
on the
I'm
list.
talking about the reason why he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, okay, I
That's what
see.
I'm talking about.
Oh, okay, I see. My bad.
So, yeah, so definitely this is a big situation. So the Astros needed this win. They needed this. And the Astros, I know that you and I were talking and we're like, well, we don't want to jinx it. And you said, well, that Jose Altuve home run kind of cemented it. And I know that his son, Darren, sent a text message to MLB.com. And he said, my dad never ceases to amaze me. All of his success has been earned through his hard work and dedication. I congratulate him on 2,000 wins, and I'm so proud that he is my dad.
Oh
So
man, gosh, talking about a tearjerker, man. Talking about a moment in time in history. Eric. My son and I were talking the other day to talk about father son stuff. My dad actually turned down a minor league spot, I believe, with the St. Louis Cardinals. And at the time, there were some life situations where he couldn't go and play. And I said, I told Sammy, I said, your grandfather could have been a pro ball player. And he said, but Dad, if he would have gone pro, then you wouldn't be here. And if you weren't here, he goes, I wouldn't be here. And I said, you know what? That's a heck of a perspective for a 13-year-old to
yeah,
have.
Doc Brown.
And so, I mean, but anytime, what 21 gigawatts? But to have that kind of perspective and to be able to have that moment with your father, to be able to look up to your father and know that he got to where he was because of his hard work and his dedication. I mean, isn't that the H-Town mentality? Isn't that the Houston vibe, the blue collar? We come together, we work hard, we earn everything. We don't
Right.
feel like we are entitled. And I mean, he just fits in. Dusty Baker needs to get one of these Ford F-150 like sponsorship deals. I mean, he would be perfect. I would love to see Dusty Baker with his toothpick driving an F-250 or something like that. That would be amazing.
You know what? I know that he said he had friends and family there, and his wife was there too. He
There you
should go
go.
ahead and get his wife something from Blue Nile.
He would. Blue Nile is the original online dealer to high income adults. Really, primarily, guys 25 and up. But here's the thing: they're not just exclusive to that group; they're exclusive to everybody. They have stuff at every price point, and Mother's Day is right around the corner, so you can have access to this like high dollar jeweler. And you can call them. They are online. You can chat with them, and you can give them your price point and what you want them to make, and they can custom make things for you. It is fine jewelry. It's Mother's Day gifting at its best. It's not like you just go to some random store or some random jewelry counter and go, can I grab that? You tell them what you want, what you're looking for. Even if you have trouble choosing, they'll help you over the phone. They'll help you find a memorable gift. And celebrating that special woman in your life on BlueNile.com for you can be easy. And you can navigate thousands of items of jewelry and at where you want to buy it at. You don't have to buy it at somebody else's price point, but yours. Right now, Locked On listeners, when you go to Locked On Astros listeners, when you go to BlueNile.com, you will get $50 off, $500 when you use a promo code Locked On. But you have to do it by Mother's Day. It's only good through Mother's Day, so please check it out. BlueNile.com is a great way to make her feel special on this Mother's Day.
Alrighty. Speaking of feeling special, Brett's going to feel special because he's going to be the star of the Locked On Now podcast, talking about Dusty Baker reaching 2,000 wins. And that's why we're a little bit late to doing this podcast today. Sorry about that, guys. But go check out the Locked On Now podcast. And it is 30 to 45 seconds of each team, every game, talking about what happened in the great sport of baseball. So go check out the Locked On Now podcast and make them your second listen after you make us your first listen. So according to Baseball Cloud, Dusty Baker is just the fifth MLB coach to have 2,000 plus regular season wins and 40 plus playoff wins.
Wow.
The other four managers to do that are Joe Torre, Tony La Russa, Bobby Cox, and Bruce Bochy. So that's a
big company. That is like the grand poobah of coaching for baseball. Dude, Bobby Cox, that dude won a lot of games. I mean, he had those Braves teams, and I mean, yeah, wow, what an elite group of men. And for a guy that almost didn't go into coaching, he just was going to retire and just go do his thing. I mean, wow. I mean, congrats, Dusty Baker. Congrats.
And
Ovation right
also,
now.
he's also, if you're looking at his career as a hitter, he had 1,981 hits.
Wow.
And I think him and Joe Torre, or no, yeah, Tony
I
La
don't know.
Russa.
Okay.
I think it's Tony La
You went through the whole
Russa.
list.
I saw this. Yeah, I saw this stat earlier, but him and Tony La Russa are like one of the only managers with so many hits and so
Wow.
many wins in their managerial and major league career. So this is
Very
actually
cool.
like, it's really awesome to see this. I know that a lot of people have had their criticism of Dusty Baker and like, well, why'd you bring him in here? But like you said, this is awesome. I mean, he over his major league career, he has 2,000 wins, 1745 losses. So that's great. So far this season, he's 13-11. You would hope he would have a little bit better record, but they've kind of dealt with some weird
Well,
issues this year, but you see them starting to trend up a little bit.
I mean, when you're with five different teams and five different teams go to the playoffs, not every one of those teams every single year win the playoffs. And so, he was on some okay Cubs teams, things like that, the Reds, and so that's going to happen. But to get to 2,000, that means you have longevity. That means you're trusted. In most cases, it means you have integrity, and it is just a great badge of honor for Dusty Baker to be where he is. But today's game, Eric, I was a little concerned. Yordan Alvarez hit his 8th home run of the year. 5 of his 8 home runs are solo shots. The
Oh,
guys in front of him are not getting on base.
yeah.
And
Hey, before
yeah.
we move off from Dusty Baker, I wanted to say his first career win. It was actually against Joe Torre and the St. Louis Cardinals. And the Cardinals leadoff man that day was Geronimo Pena, and that's Jeremy Peña's dad. So
Oh,
isn't it
night.
kind of
Yeah.
a whole
No,
full circle there?
Baseball has a way. The baseball gods are real. The baseball gods have a way of orchestrating certain things to happen, to fall, and just, I mean, phenomenal. And Jeremy Pena, I can't say enough. I'm so impressed with this kid. But let's talk about Yordan, Eric, because Yordan needs to be hitting home runs when there's people on base, and he's got guys that are supposed to be on base in front of him, and Altuve, Brantley, and Bregman. And he hit another solo shot. It was a great solo shot. It was an amazing solo shot, center field in the Budweiser party deck,
107.3 miles per hour off the bat,
Yeah.
435 feet, and it was expected batting average in 950.
Yeah, 950. So I looked at that. I was listening to Blummer. Blummer and Callis did an amazing job talking about advanced
Okay.
analytics. It's kind of funny the night after we talk about, I don't think they discussed us, but the night after we talked about X WOBA and X slugging, all that stuff, they talked about the advanced statistics and how they're more complete. But Baseball Savant in the upper right hand corner, he was talking about, they have a chart, and it's a velocity tracker. And you can move it, and it's like a cool graph. Like, you would love it as a math teacher. You'd be like, "Oh wow, this is amazing! I love math." It's got like this chart, and you move this dot, and you can go up on launch angle, and you can go out on exit velocity, and you put it at a certain exit velocity, and you notice when the launch angle gets too high, there are no baseballs that have been tracked that were home runs, right? But it tells you, and you can move that graph all around. It's really interesting, to look at. But that was a laser shot. Jose Altuve hitting a home run today, a home run that had an extra run tagged onto it, was big.
Right.
This guy, we need his bat swinging. I think if Jose Altuve gets going, I think you'll see Brantley and Bregman follow.
Yeah, I mean, this kid from AAA, Altuve, hopefully he can get things going, or else they'll have to send him back to AAA.
It's amazing how short he is.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think he's out of options though, so they may have to put him on waivers if they send out
Wow.
AAA.
Oh
I'm
man.
kidding.
Altuve, he's got you gone. Who's a slanderer now?
All
Get thee
right,
behind
so
me, Satan.
yeah, so Alvarez once again had that. He scored 2 runs. He did walk, but he looks like he's swinging a hot bat. He has 4 home runs in the last 5 games,
Yeah.
and it just he's up to 8 home runs. But Jeremy Pena had a stolen base, his first stolen base in his career, and I didn't get to see it. I was out of the room, but apparently he did a swim move.
Well, he did a swim move that was unintentional. As he
Okay.
was sliding, his left hand with the little oven mitt he had got caught in the dirt. And
Okay.
as it got caught in the dirt, it kind of caused him to lean off to the right away from second base. Because if you're not watching this, you can't see me. And as he's leaning kind of away from the base, outstretching his right arm, the shortstop's glove, JP Crawford reaches over, and he just misses his shoulder, his torso, his hip, and as he slides past the bag, he then hits the bag with his knee and his foot, and he was safe. And they're like, "Oh, he did a swim move," and Jeff Blum goes, "No, his that mitt got stuck in the dirt, dude. That dirt when they first when they get it, wet at the beginning of the game."
Right.
Dude, it's like mud out there. It's almost too watered, I think, at times. But it was great. He did it. Siri got a steal
Too wet.
today. And yeah, it's that we're not going to go there. Stop, Eric. Let's keep
Wait,
going.
Siri
Keep
got
going.
what?
Didn't Siri get stolen base?
No.
Oh no, he was threatening to steal. My bad. I was
No.
okay. He did
No,
not.
he did walk, but he still looks a little bit lost at the plate at times. But he's got batting 205 with 612 OPS. Maldonado, yes, him and Castro are great at throwing out runners, but same time, their batting average is terrible. Then you have Corey Lee, who's like tearing up the minor league. So eventually something's got to give. And I mean, I know if you have this juggernaut of offense, you can carry light hitting catchers, but the way this team has been so inconsistent, it's hard to really carry this team. Like when you're only getting 5 hits. Yes, the Astros did score 4 runs. They're very efficient with their offense today, especially with Jeremy Peña getting that clutch. That this kid is becoming a clutch hitter. I talked about it in the show yesterday. He in these tough situations, he's finding a way to just get it done, and that's what he did in that situation. So it just he finds a way to get it done, and I'm glad that Correa is gone, because Correa is I mean, trust me, I think that Correa needs the Astros more than the Astros need Correa, if that makes
I
sense.
had a conversation with someone the other day. I'll talk to you about it off air. I'm actually at the game, and it's funny that you said that because your name came up, but it's okay. We'll talk after the show, because I did a little comparison today of Pena and Correa, and one of the things you have to have in this, you have to have a complete conversation with the whole Correa Pena thing. If you compare them now, just strictly on offense, okay, Pena's outperforming him, but Correa is getting higher value hits in key situations where he has fewer RBIs, but his RBIs have actually meant more in wins. And the Twins have a better record. So there's this whole like complicated, complete thing you have to have. But I like, for the value dollar that we're paying Pena versus the
Right.
value what we're not paying Correa, I think it's hand over fist right now. It is a better option. And here's what he did tonight on that pitch. I still don't know how he hit that ball
It was
and got
inside. Yeah.
it. Well, I know it's inside, but I still don't know how he hit that ball inside. You have to have incredible plate discipline to keep your hands inside. You have to truly throw the knob of the bat at the ball and let the barrel be carried by the force of the pull of that knob. Once you pull the knob and you snap the wrist, that's what creates momentum on the bat, and that's what sent the ball over the shortstop head. And that was textbook. The pitcher jams you and you put it in play no matter what. I mean, that was a great knock. I mean, it wasn't an electric home run. It wasn't a triple. It was great fundamental baseball, and the smile on his face. And he didn't look nervous. And he said the big moments don't bother him. That's key. That is something that Carlos Correa had. That is something, of course, Carlos Correa was a little bit younger, so it's a little bit more like it put you in awe at a younger age. This kid's a little bit older, but still, Jeremy Pena is doing a good job. He's gaining confidence. He's only going to get better.
Yeah, and you can't like with Tucker and Alvarez needing to be extended at some point. You can't give them a whole bunch of Built Bars and say, "Here's your extension." You got to actually pay them money. So saving money on Carlos Correa is a way to do it. So let's talk about Built Bar.
See, H-Town Wheelhouse and Built Bar might have a bone to pick with you on that because we think Built Bars would be a great addition to a nice contract extension. Summer is coming. With summer, you are going to need some food on the go. Like us, we live close to the coast. So when we go to the beach, when we go to the park, or whatever, we bring Built Bars. Whether it's family vacation, you can throw them in your bag, throw them in your kid's backpack. Make sure that everyone has a bar so that you're fueled for the summer. Whether you're going to a water park or an amusement park or wherever you're going to grandma's house, grab a Built Bar. That's right. All Built Bars and Puffs are covered in 100% real chocolate. That means that with Built Bar, you can eat healthy and actually enjoy doing it. Have you tried the Built Puffs? Because we are going crazy over them. We have some amazing flavors. Banana cream pie, amazing. And even churro. If you're from Texas and you don't know what a churro is, then where have you been? Like, they have churro puffs. So check them out. And they have a flavor for you. You can get a mixed box where you have 12 different flavors, and the variety is amazing. So go to builtbar.com and use the promo code. Go to built.com and use the promo code LOCKED15. Remember that each bar, for the most part, has 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, and 17 grams of protein. So go to built.com and get your favorites: banana cream pie, raspberry double chocolate, and many more. Built.com, use the promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your order. Tell them that H-Town Wheelhouse sent you.
Thoughts by Dusty.
All right, we're going to go back to some more thoughts by Dusty. I was in San Francisco when my good friend Bruce Bochy got his 2000th win. That's the first thing I thought about. And the next thing I thought about is that I need 3 more to pass Bruce. So
There you go. Oh, yeah, Dusty's like, I'm going to call him. I'm going to be like, hey, Bruce, 2004, Again, great. I mean, it's historical. Like, I'm speechless. Like, how do you stay in a game long enough to get 2,000 wins? That's absolutely astounding.
You retire and come back.
You retire and come back, and you listen to God's calling on your life. I mean, that's huge, man. That is so cool. And so, the Astros, there are so many conversations we could have this year. We could talk about extensions. We could talk about his Corey Lee coming up. We could talk about LMJ. We could talk about Jake Myers. But what we got to focus on now is what was the record? I mean, aren't the Astros undefeated when they score 4 runs or more, which isn't very often?
Yeah, it's 9, and I think they're 9-0 now.
Okay, so they just need to score 4 runs or more. I mean, that's not too tall of an order. Well, but that's not too tall of an order, right? Like,
yeah.
they're not. They luckily haven't had a slugfest, but when they did have that slugfest against the Blue Jays, who actually were getting rocked by the Yankees last time I checked, Yankees were beating them like 9-1. They were crushed. The Yankees are trying to win their 11th game in a row.
Yeah,
11-game win streak. Okay, they won. They won't sustain that much success, but the Yankees may be more real than we thought. The Angels may be more real than we thought, but I think the Angels have a lot less staying power. And we're in second place all alone. We get the sweep tomorrow with Justin Verlander on the mound.
Yeah, and I hate that it's a day game, but it is what it is. And the Astros will face Brash. This is a kid that has almost as many walks as strikeouts. That's a little scary. He does have some command issues, and the Astros are typically a team that takes advantage of pitchers that have command issues. So hopefully this is a day that we see somebody like Yuli. I know Dusty Baker said before the game that Yuli is not taking Yuli-esque type swings this year, and you can see it in his approach. And it's so weird because his spring training was he was dominating in spring training, and it's like the losing the weight was helping him, but now he can't hit the broadside of a barn. I know.
Well, he got a hit tonight.
I know. I was about to say that I think he got a hit tonight, but he's still batting two.
He's batting 218 right now. He got a walk and he got a hit. So he was 1 for 3 tonight. Yeah, he is not being Yuli. He's not the quote unquote returning AL batting champion that he was. But good contact hitters, as they get older, are going to go through seasons. And he may just be going through a really slow start. He may be slow all the way through May and then all of a sudden break out of it. But I think when Yuli finds it, he's going to find it. I don't think it has anything to him. I don't think it has anything to him. Good Lord, I can't spell out. It doesn't have anything to do with, I'm going to edit that out.
With him losing weight.
With him losing weight. That's like, no, he literally gained muscle and lost weight. No, he doesn't need to get fatter to hit the ball. That's a really stupid theory. So that's lame.
Well,
Don't no, I'm not saying to you. I'm saying everybody's saying that. Oh, maybe he needs
oh,
to eat
okay.
more pizza. And I know they're joking. But like, no, he doesn't need to eat more pizza. Like whatever. You know, if his body's different, his bat path. I mean, things may have changed physically that changed his hand eye, his bat path, and so I
Well,
think he'll come
remember
around.
John Singleton put on a lot of weight that year and was never the same player after that. And
Eric, John Singleton was also
okay, let's stop.
influenced by some
Let's stop.
hippie
Let's
lettuce.
stop.
So
All right,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm just
So
saying. I mean, but hey,
Dusty Baker
he
before
got that
today.
bag. He got that bag.
Dusty Baker before the game was saying that he was going to flip flop Gurriel and Tucker in the lineup. He did not, but I guess it didn't affect the game. But so, would you be okay seeing two lefties back to back in Tucker and Alvarez? I personally would. I mean, yes,
Why
it could.
not? I mean, is there like some unwritten rule you can't put two?
It's
I
a
mean, is
Dusty rule. Yeah,
okay, but okay. Well, you know what? If it's broke, then you probably need to fix it, right? I mean that's the thing with baseball is about making adjustments, right? And and Dusty knows that. Dusty probably has conversations with these guys too. He probably asked them, "Are you comfortable doing this?" And he may have thought it, and they may say, "You know what? Just go ahead and leave me where I'm at. I need to hit. You know, that's on me. I'll get a hit." And so we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. We don't know what conversations they have because Dusty is the ultimate player's manager. So I rarely think that he makes decisions that upsets players. Now, when a player doesn't get to play, I'm sure they're not happy, they're not on the field. But they do need to change. They need to get someone who's hitting in front of Yordan Alvarez at least. I mean, they've got to do something because Jordan's about to start getting a lot of walks. If they don't,
yeah.
if he's the only power threat bat right now, he's going to be getting walked. I mean, I'd walk him if I was facing him tomorrow. I'd walk him first two at bats. I wouldn't even think about it.
I know Brantley's on a little cold streak in his last 7 games. He's batting 214. But
Yeah,
he was hitting pretty well before that. I know Bregman's in a little funk himself too in his
the
last seven
bright spot,
games.
Eric. The
Yeah,
bright spot is they only had 4 strikeouts. They hit the ball. They made contact.
right.
They just didn't get the ball didn't fall in the right places, and so maybe that's kind of the icing on the cake. Is like, yes, it's bad that they only got 4 runs, but they only had 4 strikeouts. You can work with that.
At
You can
least
make
you
improvements
tried.
on that. Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. I can have my cake and eat it too.
Yeah. Or something like that. But yeah, so let's the offense was good enough to get the win today, especially when Cristian Javier goes out and dominates. This is a guy that was throwing 2 innings, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and now he's stretched all the way out to pitching into the 6th inning. He threw a total of 87 pitches. I know Dusty Baker was getting a little bit concerned at a certain point, and but overall, he pitched 5 1/3 innings. He did walk a batter, and that's when Dusty Baker decided to take him out. But he had 4 strikeouts. His ERA on the season is 0.96. This he looks like he's good enough to stay in a rotation, but the problem is who are you going to take out because this rotation is looking pretty good, and it begs to ask the
Well,
question, should we stay in a 6-man rotation because it keeps limits how many innings you put on Justin Verlander's arm.
no, it does. So there's that aspect, but I think there's no doubt
I
because
know.
of Christian Javier's success in the bullpen. I would rather Javier go to the bullpen. He would be more reliable in a bullpen setting than Jake Odorizzi. I don't know what I would get with Jake Odorizzi as a relief pitcher over a certain amount of time. And if this guy has gotten off of his mental roadblock where JV talked him off of this psychological cliff he was on, and Bregman helped him get a hitter's perspective of what he was doing wrong. And that's kind of fixed the issue because, pitching and hitting and fielding in baseball, I mean, it's really mental. It is a lot of times like when I was watching the Reds the other day and they made 3 or 4 ridiculous, simple errors on routine plays, pop flies, ground balls overthrowing first base. That's a psychological defect. That's not. They are professional baseball players. There's
They
only
are
700.
3-20.
But here's the thing, Eric. There's only 750
I know.
pros that play MLB. What I'm saying is these guys are in a mental like cage. They cannot get out of their own way mentally. When Jacob Rizzi, he's done that. If he keeps doing that, do not move him out of this role. Cristian Javier's proven that he can handle the relief position and do it with class. So I think that's your answer right there, just off of what we've seen. Because if you put Javier in the pen and you bring on Lance McCullers, you can still have a 6-man rotation.
Yes. So I'm looking at the Reds and who we can possibly poach from them, and at the trade deadline. And
Who's that?
Tyler Stevenson is a potential candidate, the catcher. He had batted 286 last year with 10 home runs and 45 RBIs. But that's a conversation for a later date. I was just kind of
Okay. Oh
curious.
my God, we're gonna start talking about trades this late in the evening. I'm
No,
joking.
of
It's all
course
good. It's
not.
all good. Hey, Justin Verlander. Eric,
Yes.
I think even though he didn't have 4 wins or 3 wins, I think he's easily in the Cy Young candidacy, top 5 voting by the end of the year if he just continues to do what he's been doing.
Yeah, I mean,
Easily.
he's been dominating so far. It looks like he didn't have Tommy John surgery. He's doing it so effortlessly, and it's just like he is the old Justin Verlander. And so, yeah, if he continues to pitch like this, yes, but can he? That's the question. And how much are the Astros going to limit him overall? And so, let's talk a little bit about today's game. It's going to be a 1:10 game. Is that what time it is?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So against Justin Verlander, you have a lot of players that have faced him. I know the Mariners faced him this year already, and that they didn't have a lot of success. Ty France is batting 667 against him. Dylan Moore is batting 286, and then a whole bunch of nothing against Justin
Well, yeah,
Verlander.
because I mean, most of them only had like 3 at bats, and Eugenio Suarez is an absolute nothing burger when he gets up to the plate. He's actually worse than Castro and Maldonado combined. I mean, so he's been a big zero for them. Jesse Winker, that dude whines and complains about everything. I'm like, how about get a hit? Instead of like thinking you beat out every throw to first, you clearly were half a step anyways. That cracked me up. Did you see JP Crawford give it to CB Buckner on that low strikeout call? He called a low outside pitch off the plate, and he was like, that's effing BS, CB, and you know it. And I'm like, he said it. I played it 3 times. Like, wait, did he just call him by name and like drop the F bomb on him? And he did. And CB just stood there and looked at it. And a friend of mine said, well, maybe he didn't throw him out because he's like, well, you got what you deserved. I mean, but yeah, he freaking yelled in the guy's face. And I'm shocked that Buckner didn't toss him right there.
So the Mariners are now 12-12 on the season. The Astros are now 13-11. So the Astros have a winning record. They be flexing over the Mariners finally. So that was a good
You and
game.
your cheesy lines. They were flexing on the Mariners tonight, kids.
Yeah. I got a card from one of my students, and they said, thank you for all your corny jokes. And they're sort of funny sometimes.
Oh, speaking of this, dude, get this. So they handed out these awards. We have like this team where we like do all this like encouraging stuff. Guess what award I got?
What?
I got most knowledgeable, and I'm most likely to share random Astros facts any time of the day.
I
I am
can
that
totally
guy.
see that. Speaking of most knowledgeable random facts, Samuel kind of brings up that Hunter Brown was nasty today. He threw 5 scoreless innings. He was touching 98.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly how many strikeouts he had. I think it was he struck out a lot of people, but it's this kid. I mean, I had it up earlier, but I didn't copy it onto my little thing here. But he looks like he's a legit starter in the
Oh, he
future.
is. No, he is.
I
He
don't
is.
know if it's
He's
going
a.
to be this year, but they may
If
give him
you
a chance in September.
if you don't, I don't see him coming up before September. I don't see. You don't need him. You know who else was out there today, Eric? Ryan Presley. Ryan
Oh
Presley
yeah,
came
yeah.
in
We didn't talk about that.
and guess who he faced? He faced Luke Voigt. Luke Voigt's a DH for the Chihuahuas now. Presley came in. He threw a clean inning. He threw one pitch. Now they did the piggyback system. Tyler Ivey started 3 innings pitched. The Space Cowboys actually lost. He
Struck
had
out 8.
5 strikeouts,
Yeah.
and then Tyler Brown came in after an inning of Presley, and he finished the game
Hunter Brown.
5 innings. I'm sorry, Hunter Brown. They actually have 2 Browns, one Tyler, one Hunter. Hunter Brown, 5 innings, only 2 hits, like you said, 8
8
strikeouts.
strikeouts.
So,
Yeah.
and 2 walks, and that is the key thing that he wants to get down. Is if his walks are getting down, that's what he's been looking to do. His command of his fastball and his breaking pitches has been something that he's been working on really, really hard. Corey Lee, I know everybody wants him, but let's not rush these guys. Let's not bring them up too soon. The offense has got to wake up, though, Eric.
Yeah.
I am concerned about this offense.
According to the Sugar Land Space Cowboys, I'm gonna start putting 25 cents every time I say the word
Oh,
Skeeters
wow.
in a little
I'd
jar
be a
in there.
millionaire by now. No, I'm joking.
Yes. But according to the Space Cowboys, that Brown is the PCL leader with 34 strikeouts already, and he's fourth in the PCL with a 2.35 ERA. So this kid is the legit deal. And right now, the guy he's trying to emulate, Justin Verlander, is
Yeah.
the legit deal too. And we get to watch him pitch tomorrow. And Dusty Baker, congratulations. This is something that you've been working for your entire career, and I'm glad for that you had your friends and family there to witness this. And I kind of wish they gave you a little jersey that had 2000 on the back of it, but it took you a long time to get there. So congratulations. You got any final thoughts?
No, just again for me from H Town Wheelhouse and his family, congratulations, and continued success. Let's see you get like 80 something more wins. Let's bust 95 wins this year, right? Let's do it. Let's go win a World Series. Let's go get Dusty, not just an ALCS ring, but a World Series ring. And
And
I'm out.
And I love the fact that the crowd was cheering Dusty Baker, Dusty Baker.
I didn't
So
hear that really at
yeah,
the end.
at the end they're cheering for him, and so that had to mean a lot for
Oh yeah.
Dusty Baker. And so for myself, Eric Huysman, for Brett, H Town Wheelhouse, that's the end of the show, and we'll see you tomorrow. Go Stros.